Kia ora guys, welcome back to Crypto Scene Investigation, where we have a look at various cryptocurrency projects and we ask ourselves, is this actually going to be worth investing in? Today we'll be looking at Cuffies. If you guys like what I do on this channel, please consider liking and subscribing, as well as if you're interested in commenting, please do be constructive and generous and giving with your comments. Do really want to create a healthy community which is based around finding the truth out behind projects and whether or not they're actually probably going to be worth investing in. Also, another little disclaimer, this should not be considered as financial advice. All of it should be considered in a way of education, inspiration, and entertainment. Lovely. Let's have a look at what the project summary is. So it's kind of cool that these guys actually did this. I feel like I haven't seen many projects which actually do this, but they give us an overview of what it is. So Cuffies is a startup company that brings the social entertainment services allied with cryptocurrency as an, so this is the project summary, and so allied with cryptocurrency as an utility token with the possibility of buying with both cryptocurrencies and fiat money. We aim to solve issues, so pretty much they're like a, I don't know if they're like a YouTube thing or if they're like going to be like the next Instagram, but apparently there's sort of something along those lines. Now these guys are super fresh, so these sort of give us a bit of an idea of who they are or a little bit of what they do. So you know, these are some of the benefits which you could be receiving from that, so you guys can pause and have a read of some of these bad boys. And yeah, so they talk about being like why you should invest, the revenues which you can get, differentials for creators, and talk a little bit about the tokenomics, but we will be looking into that on another tab. Something a bit important to know here would probably be to briefly have a look at the team down the bottom there. We will be going into a little bit of detail with these guys, but do sort of pause and have a look at these ones on here. Cool, great. Well, we will drop out of that and we will move on. Okay, let's have a look at what we can find on CoinMarketcap. According to CoinMarketcap, it is currently at $864,000 for its market cap, which is incredibly low for pretty much any project. So they have a max supply of 100 million, and it says that the self-reported circulating supply is 100 million, but because it's got this little triangle, the CMC team has not verified it, and its rank is currently 4,621. Now, if we have a look at over its lifetime on here, as we can see, it started deliciously high at about actually no, it looks like it might have actually started just a little bit lower than that. So it started at 0.021, went up to 0.035, and then now it's sitting at 0.008. So the sort of question is to ask, why did it do this? What is sort of one of the causes behind it? So we did have a chat to the team in regards to the price drop, and they said that one of the things is, first of all, the cryptocurrency market having gone down since, well, I mean, it's sort of been going down this whole entire time, to be honest. But one thing which they actually did mention was a few private investors and people who were part of the pre-sale actually sold off. Yeah, but they also said that they are actually focusing less on marketing and actually focusing on development, which I think is good, especially because this is a pretty heckin' fresh token. Yeah, so where can we currently buy it? So we can currently buy it on pancakeswap, and there's possibly going to be some things within their roadmap which we can be having a look at, for them potentially going and putting it on other exchanges, because to have it only on pancakeswap, I didn't expect that to be a very long term thing for these guys. So we'll have a look at what percentages, who holds what. So as we can see, a lot of these wallets are a very decent percentage, or they've got the contracts next to them. I mean, you have I imagine that this is the liquidities. For pancakeswap, you've got a burn address there, and this top main address could be some cause for concern. Now, I did also ask them on Telegram as well, exactly what that address is for, and from what they did tell me, they said that they use them for buybacks, and if they decide to list on another exchange, we need those tokens ready to go. And I'm honestly just sort of sitting with that answer, to be honest. Like, I mean, I'm not really going to try to fight it too much, but keep in mind that this is potentially a risk. If they decide to change their mind and do something with it, they possibly have the ability to maybe drain a lot of the liquidity from this project because of that. So just bear in mind that jazz. But we will be having a look at some other stats to find out what else we can find. So it says risky. So they have a buy tax and a sell tax. Now I believe that they may say, so yeah, they talk a little bit about the buy fees and the sell fees here. Selfies. This is a social media platform. See what I did there? Selfies. Anyway, we can see that these fees are used for different things. Now, I believe that on their, it's possibly their main page, or somewhere around here, they actually do list some of the details for why they actually have it like that. So if you click onto Token on the actual website, you can actually see a little bit more details in regards to what some of these fees stand for. So feel free to pause and have a read. Marketing fee, app fee, operations fee, redistribution fee, liquidity fee, and then so that is on purchases, and then this is on sale and tips. So tips being that you being a creator, you can get tipped for your content, for instance, which I think it's pretty cool, man. So I believe that one of their other big focuses is live streaming as well. Yeah, so so we'll continue going back to some of this jazz. Sell possible at the report generation, but suspicious trading status for variables detected in the contract code. Trade could maybe be blocked at any moment. Why do I feel like I heard something about this? Don't know exactly what they have regarding this. So anyway, guys, I was just trying to ask the team regarding what that funky jazz is. You wanna know what happened? They went and muted me. They had, it says, the admins of this group restricted you from writing here until date and time. Well, nothing to see here, folks. Let's move on. So burnt tokens 8%. So as we can see, this dev wallet, gosh, honestly, that sussed me out. Why did they do that? Why did they just suddenly stop me from, like, are they writing an announcement or something? Like, what the heck? So owner not announced, we know that. So that is the owner wallet. So keep in mind, this is the owner wallet right here, which once again could possibly give us a bit of a cause for concern in that sort of area. Detected dev address, which, you know, we actually know that already. So it says liquidities are okay, so we have 196 BNB, and that is locked through Mudra. Let's go to the next page anyway. Please excuse me if I got that information wrong. So we have a look. Actually, let's quickly jump to PooCoin, because PooCoin will give us a bit of a better idea. So $75,000 in the LP holdings, and another 928 in BUSD. So one's BNB and one's BUSD. Cool. Found out that brief information. Now let's have a look at some of this jazz. Pretty much the same information which we saw on BSCcheck. Similar burn as well. Onus, although this says 21%. Now I'm wondering where it's getting the 21% from, because that says 19%. So a little bit fascinated by that one. Anyway, so yeah, so although this is 82.6%, so I'm sort of wondering where that differentiation is. So yeah, so it's hard to say exactly which one is for what. Wallet less than 5% of liquidity, so we know that much. Moonarch, what does that tell us about this? So owner and creator is the same. Token age, a month old. That is interesting. So there is a few reasons why I find that interesting. One reason is because of what their Twitter and Reddit says, which we'll be looking at that shortly. And this also says that it has 100% on Mudra, so probably likely to believe BSCcheck and Moonarch over tokensniffer in this regard. But yeah, so if we have a look, so we see that about 9% is of liquidity, and of that liquidity, about 98% of that is locked and 1% is unlocked. And as we can see, so owner 19%, unlocked 63%, and burnt is 8%. So the owner still has a large chunk, and potentially could still go and drop the price pretty heavily. And they must have been worried for me asking too many questions. This is what happens, folks. Hopefully they don't dox me. If anybody saw me on there, please do not dox me. Anyway, yeah. So, hidden field, all that sort of jazz. Great, we move on, we move forward. Subscribers, cool. So they've gone from 3 or like little up to the 500s, which is pretty nice. It's had, you know, a pretty decent pumpish, but keep in mind that according to coinmarketcap, it hasn't been like properly, I guess, listed until like mid-January. So yeah, just sort of keep that in mind in terms of some of these little bits of jazz. Comments per day. So the community's a bit commenty-ish. Doesn't look like there's really been much since January though. It looks a bit barren from what I can see. Post per day, yeah, so 31st of January, man. So a bit empty. As you can see, there's not a lot of comments going on here. Yeah, and yeah, it's alright, I guess. So similarly with their Twitter now, first of all, I don't think they have any bot accounts, because usually with bot accounts you'd see like, I don't know, like a few tens of thousands or whatever, but we haven't really seen anything with this. So user created on January 13th, and we can't even get any stats for this. That's kind of how fresh this is in terms of its followers. So date, I mean live followers, so we know that they have 967 followers, but we don't know how long that may have taken to accumulate, for instance. And pretty much these posts don't really have any comments on them neither. Yeah, so we'll move on and we'll have a look at some of the Google trends. So Cuffies, there's other different there are other definitions of Cuffies, one of them being some sort of slave. But yeah, so there are other definitions of Cuffies and who they are and all that sort of jazz. But as we can see, so they had a bunch of searches mostly around March, which is interesting because it feels like not many people would have probably known about this project at that point in time. Although, remember, they did actually have that Twitter since January, but the actual token, I guess, contract wasn't actually officially released until about a month ago, so it's only really about a month old. So over the last 90 days, they have had a bit of a pump during the 20th, which if we do have a brief look at the 20th, that is when they were sort of like around this area. So people were probably saying, oh no, it's going to go up here or what have you. But yeah, as we can sort of see, it's just kind of dipped quite a bit. Yeah, so it's pretty peculiar in terms of what's actually been kind of causing this. Yeah, so that's been over the last 90 days. This is their main website as well. I'm just trying to see if there's anything which is interesting to show you on here. I haven't seen any partnerships as of yet, so I haven't seen any sort of big names in terms of partnerships, or any venture capitalists, for instance. Haven't really seen much, haven't really heard of much. A bit surprised that they don't have anything, because this feels like it is going to be quite big if it does actually get quite big. So let's move on. You can also stake your Cuffies as well, so they have an estimated APY of 145%, but keep in mind, because it is APY, that means it does potentially have the ability to change, and then it says pull 1 ends in 2 days. So we will move on from that, so that's for a 30-day lock period as well. And so this talks a little bit about the roadmap, so let's see if we can see anything here which sort of tells us something which we should be looking forward to. So we have NFT marketplace, first live stream, host AMA. So I believe that Q0 is actually Q4 of 2021, so that's why they say Q1, because that's of 2022. Press releases. So it looks like they do have a few sort of things which they're definitely wanting to achieve and do. So that's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. Listing on several platforms, cool. Business partnerships. As I say, with business partnerships, I mean, maybe it's because if we have a look at this, so they aren't going to be launching the beta app until Q2, and with that they'll also be launching the actual Cuffies app itself. So with that sort of being said, we do have, I guess, a little bit of like kind of time to wait for that to happen. If we actually do sort of want to see the fruit of the loins. I don't know if I'm using that correctly, but I'm just sort of using it there. So I decided to actually jump onto the white paper to show you guys some of the other things here. So remember, we're currently looking at Q1 of 2022 with this. So this is a little bit more in detail in terms of what they are going to be offering. So Cuffies Dex beta version. They said that in Q1 and then in Q2 it says Cuffy beta app. So depends on, you know, which one we want to go by. Do we want to go by the website, or do we want to go by this white paper, which was last modified a month ago? So I don't know what to tell you guys. But yeah, so fiat payments, cool. So that's good. Updates on the tokenomics, and updates on the Cuffies app. So yeah, and they have a marketing strategy as well, but we won't be going through that jazz. Tokenomics, because we love tokenomics. So as we can see, so liquidity will be initially locked for 6 months. So liquidity, which remember, according to Moonarch, it has been locked on here, and we can see that. And if we also open Mudra, we can actually see the liquidity that has been locked. And then so tokens unlock in 5 months. So yeah, so that's cool. So we do know that they are being honest in that sort of essence. Other things which they've done. So they said that there was a lot of reasoning behind this decision, with the main impact factor to be the high volatility of the industry. So it says Cuffies project has been in development since June, and there was already since June. Isn't that interesting? And there was already a router migration on pancakeswap, which led for tokens with locked liquidity on V1 to not be able to migrate to pancakeswap V2. We don't want to be dependent on any other companies or projects to be able to keep growing the Cuffies ecosystem. And so it says 6 months after launch, we will be locking our full liquidity again. So yeah, so I think in terms of that, it is a bit more, I guess, better to some extent, because of that jazz. And we do have a bit of a picture which is on 2 tabs, showing the actual token allocation. So one thing which is pretty good is that the team, it says 13% for the team. So that's actually a really decent number in terms of how much the team would actually own. And yeah, so you guys can have a brief look at that and sort of pause it and just see if there's anything which really sort of stands out to you. So nothing from what I can see really seems too concerning. But yeah, I still want to know a little bit more in regards to this 19% with the dev wallets. Although when it actually comes to the dev tokens themselves, I do understand their reasoning for why they would have this sort of like really high percentage for those other exchanges. Yeah, so remember I sort of asked why they hadn't locked it up already. Anyway, while this video is being recorded, by the way, guys, I still can't comment in the Telegram group. Yeah, sorry, I think that's so funny. So this is the fellow who is the co-founder and the CEO. Now, we could actually have a proper look at their full team, which we can see here. However, some people are being, I guess you could call them anonymous. So for instance, Slavko, Rob, and a few other guys who are doing other things as well. So I don't know exactly who's in charge of the main, who's in charge of the actual main blockchain, I guess, design, if you want to call it, or the sort of token design, maybe, if you want to call it that. I mean, the closest thing that I can think of would be operations. So that's like the closest thing that comes to mind for me. Or there is a chance that it could be Marco, who is also the CTO, the Chief Technology Officer. So yeah, so it's kind of hard to say who's exactly, I guess, the one pulling the strings in that sort of essence. Duarte, if I am pronouncing his name correctly, couldn't find any interviews on any of the guys from the team, by the way. So he's actually been a co-founder and a founder in terms of task basis and task prints. And so yeah, so it seems that he's had a few bits of experience in regards to that, with 500 plus connections. And David Caldera, one thing which puts me off a little bit is the fact that we've only got Cuffies as the sort of, I don't know, like as like his like main thing, and then we don't really have much other information, and he's only got 19 connections. So in terms of a docs team, is this actually a docs team? I mean, I only really wanted to do kind of like these three guys here. I mean, I did have a look at some of the others, and I was like, oh, I mean, I haven't seen enough for me to actually like want to research them or look them up. But yeah, it's just yeah, in terms of that jazz. Yeah, so here is my sort of final summary. So first of all, one thing which people don't really take into account very much is in terms of how well the website is built and in terms of typos. So you have project and as an utility token. As an utility token does not work. But yeah, keep in mind that I believe because most of the team is actually Portuguese, I think. Sorry, the main sort of three guys up here are based in Portugal. I don't imagine that English would be their first language. So, I mean, we can sort of show a little bit of, I guess, I don't want to say pity because it just makes it sound sad. So a little bit of credence, is that even the right word? Yeah, so a little bit of leeway maybe is probably a better word to be using. So yeah, so the roadmap looks great. And in terms of relevant experience, we can't really do much of like a research on these guys, which is a little bit annoying. So we don't really have any partnerships. Can't really tell if there's actually any bots or anything. But yeah, I think if you guys do want to invest into this project, then here's one thing which I'll probably say to consider beforehand. We currently don't have an actual working application, but if you are to, let's say, invest in this project, then I believe that that money is possibly going to be going towards getting that into a working application, which that is a positive. One of the negatives, this wallet here, we've already sort of gone through a little bit of that jazz. Another negative, they blocked me from their Telegram temporarily. The other thing is, you know, in terms of the price, it just went super down, but that's not too, I guess, ugly in my point of view. Yeah, so from pre-salers and private sale and stuff, liquidity seems pretty good. It seems pretty decent / locked-ish. And these other sort of top main wallets are good as well in terms of them actually being tied into contracts. Although we haven't gone into detail in terms of what they actually offer. So I think overall, if you want to invest in this project, invest in it because you believe in it. Invest in it because you believe in the actual future of content monetization, a DeFi social app. So invest in it because you believe that these guys are going to be the next big thing. And especially with a market cap of under 1 million, pretty much anything under 100 million is essentially risky. Anything under 1 million, usually that's throwing cash away to some extent. But yeah, I mean, these guys probably have a little bit more potential to actually grow a little bit further from here. If they also learn how to grow their Telegram by not blocking people from commenting. I'm so salty about that. Anyway, guys, this has been my video. Thank you very much for watching. Please consider joining my Patreon. I really appreciate, you know, let me just say, I really appreciate what you guys have done. I mean, we're at like 200 or something subs, and it's just kind of growing every day, and I don't know, I feel like you guys should be giving yourselves a round of applause. But anyway, yeah, so if you do want to comment maybe some information which, let's say, I might have misrepresented, or maybe I missed out on, which you feel like may be important to the project, please, you're very welcome to share. I do encourage healthy comments though, so things which are going to be beneficial or productive, and not just for myself, but for those who may be watching or interested in the project itself. Because yeah, I definitely don't think that we should be lying about anything really. Yeah, because we need to bring some more truth instead of just shilling projects being like, oh my gosh, bro, you suck, man, you can't do any research on projects, you're the worst. Anyway, guys, much love, fairly well. I hope that you enjoyed watching this interesting video. Actually, I've got one extra bit of thing. When I actually looked this up on YouTube, somebody was like, actually, I'll see if I can show you guys right now. So as I was doing my research, I found that this was the #1 video. Cuffies, alternative to OnlyFans and crypto, new 100x gem found, ? Yeah, so I didn't realize that when I started to look into this that it was potentially something which was going to be replacing OnlyFans. So that kind of cringed me out a little bit, but hey, I mean, it says social media. It doesn't say social media used for, you know, uploading raunchy pictures. So yeah. Anyway, guys, much love. Bless you. Fairly well.